Alright, what's up, guys? So today we're gonna do a little bit of chart reviews, some of the trades that the students have taken, and some of the doubts. I'm taking a little bit of the screenshot here because can't really do all of them. I've compiled a shit ton of them, and I figured that it was gonna take way too long. I want to get into a little bit of detail into the trades, rate them, whether it's A plus, or B setup. Okay. Again, let's just get straight into it. Let's look at this first trade, right? Bro, by just looking at it, bro, this trade here is, do keep in mind, not gonna sugarcoat anything. If the trade is good, I'm gonna say it's good. If it's ass, I'm gonna say, bro, this is ass. I'm gonna be hurting some feelings. Do I give a shit? I do that on a daily basis. I hurt feelings by, giving them the honest opinion on how the trade is. Right? Again, at the end of the day, what matters is the long-term result. If it on the long term, these kind of trades are not sustainable, I'm just gonna say, bro, you need to get your shit together. Okay, let's look at this one. By just looking at it, right, this trade here is not an A plus. Is it ass? Not necessarily, but is it my cup of tea? Not necessarily at the same time. It all depends. It all depends because this trade here is not A plus. It is a solid A setup. Let me break it down. Why is it an A setup? Now, the whole sequence here, it all started from Frankfurt Open. Okay, Frankfurt Opens at a 2 a.m. New York time. And that's what it is. So over there, that's the start of Frankfurt. Now, Frankfurt had some kind of an inducement of a build-up, followed by an external break. Okay, but here's the thing though. If you know, you know. The low, the inducement that happens during Frankfurt, right? If it's not followed by a good price delivery, that Frankfurt low there can be induced one more time. You see what I mean? So, because there's still possibility for the price to re-induce this Frankfurt low, the setup is not A plus yet. Okay. But then after that, there was an entry model being given. Okay. And that is that being a build-up, inducement happen, an external break of the high, making the entry there valid, having a stop loss at the low. Yet this setup here is still not an A plus, but it is an solid A setup. Solid A setup. Okay. And yeah, the target is pretty much straightforward. Asia high. I think that is definitely 1:3 at least. Yup, that is more than 1:3, or at least 1:3. Definitely a solid A setup. Okay. Not an A plus though. On a long term, is it sustainable taking these kind of setups? Not bad. Not bad. But yeah, just not my cup of tea. Let's look at the second one here. This one here is more of a doubt, actually. Okay, looking at this, yeah, so here's the thing. Here's a problem. Price can only do one thing at a time. It cannot do two things at a time. What am I trying to say here? Either price can break structure, number one, either the price breaks structure or induces a liquidity. It cannot do two things at the same time. What am I trying to say? Let me explain it real quick. You have all of that being build up liquidity, yeah? The whole point, the whole motive of the price delivering higher is to induce the build up liquidity, not to break a structure. Okay? So now, this here is not reversal efficiency. Absolutely not. Okay? The whole motive of the price delivering higher is just to induce all of that, maybe tapping towards some sort of an efficiency, just for the price to continue on delivering lower. Okay? What is the solution behind this? How do we take this kind of trade? Wait for a good price delivery first. Okay? If your bias were to be bullish from here, genuinely, this is exactly what I would do. Wait for something of a reversal efficiency, wait for an inducement, followed by an external break. There you go. That sequence there confirms you that price delivery now is very good. And now we can start looking for some sort of buys to continue higher. If you still have a proper target, considering that to the left here, we're reacting off of something very strong. Okay, that will be that. Let's look at this trade here. Is looking very great, actually. Matter of fact, this is looking very, very good. Like, first glance, looking very nice. Let's look at this. The high was marked there as not inducible, because it is. It is. Let me show you guys the sequence, right? Look at this. We had an inducement. We had equal highs being created there. We induced that. We broke an external structure. After that, a reversal efficiency was created. Very nice. This sequence here in itself confirms you that the high there is not inducible, meaning that the price shouldn't break the high. Absolutely not. If the price were to continue delivering lower, it shouldn't induce the high. And that's what the price did, right? Then we started building up liquidity there right at the entry, at the first entry. Okay. We use this low here as our potential target because considering all of that, price delivery is really, really bad. Okay. Re-inducement happened there. Use that as a valid protected. Why is that a valid protected? We induce some sort of an external build-up liquidity followed by an external break of structure. And then we took the entry at the imbalance, keeping the stop loss right at the protected, aiming for 1:3 only. Did the trade play out? Not necessarily, right? It did hit break even, but is it a valid trade? Absolutely yes. On a long run, is it sustainable? 100%, right? This is A plus, A plus. No sugarcoating, nothing. As I said, there could be trades that play out that is A plus, and I'll say that it is A plus. But then there are trades that is A plus, but it didn't play out. I will still say that it is A plus because at the end of the day, what matters is the long-term thought process. Okay, so this trade here is very, very beautiful. One last thing we need to check is the timing of the entry, and that is, look at that beautiful inducement within hourly candle opening. The price delivery of the previous 1 hour candle there is very, very nice. So then the high there becomes not inducible. Look at the entry with the new 1 hour, very good. This entry here, about a closure of the one hour candle, new opening of 1 hour candle, but it doesn't matter as long as you have not inducible. That would be that. Very nice trade. A plus, worthy journaling this one. Okay, let's look at this trade again. Looking at this, very good. We're focusing only on external structures, deleting a lot of unnecessary noise on the chart. Do keep in mind this is on the 1 minute time frame. The fact that we're still able to keep it clean and not clutter the chart, basically remove everything that doesn't matter, the internal structures, very, very good. Okay, so the low here induced some sort of an external. This low also, you guys can say that it induced some sort of an external, but no entry model was given there. Instead, it was followed by more build-up, and then that low was the inducement that mattered, followed by an external break of structure. There you go. That external break of structure there was the key. So now the price shouldn't trade below the low, and now we have placed our stop loss at the low, targeting 1:3. Very, very good trade. Is it A plus? Not necessarily. It is a solid A setup. Okay. Now let's move on towards the next one. Looking at the next one here. Okay, this next trade, this one is, at first glance, is looking very, very good actually. I think it was, yeah, it is the same thought process as the previous trade where you had equal highs there, inducement happen, external break, reversal efficiency created there. Again, a re-inducement of certain high mitigates into a candle formation that has an imbalance. Okay, entry after the inducement, stop loss keeping it at the protected above there. We're targeting 1:3. Very, very good. This is the bread and butter. Bread and butter. This is something that, yep. This is the one. This is the one. Repeatable. This is my kind of setup because this is so repeatable. I'm not trying to say that it happens every single day. It is something that is very high probability. It happens once in a while. But if you're there to capitalize this kind of move on a long run, you are definitely going to be profitable. Okay, let's look at this one. This is not a trade, but more of a doubt. Let's look at this. Earlier, we had an understanding that if an ILQ is tapped, then it is an expansion. And if TLQ is tapped, then it is a pullback. We used to do this just to know if we can enter directly or wait for a good price delivery, then enter in case of pullback. Let's look at this one. TLQ is taken. And then we expect for some sort of pullback. Absolutely. The pullback is valid. But guess what? The pullback trade there is valid. However, it is then fully dependent on the price delivery of this price leg here. Because if the price delivery of that price leg there were to be strong, you trading the pullback is going to be lower probability. Okay? Same goes with the expansion. At the end of the day, price delivery dictates everything. But what should we do in this case where the price delivery is bad for bullish and we tapped some kind of transactional liquidity? Then should we wait for a good price delivery to enter, or can we enter directly? What is this pullback or expansion? If all of this here is a bad price delivery, price takes some sort of an external TOQ, taps in towards some sort of a point of interest to the left, entry model is given, it is already valid for you to look for some sort of sells. Would that be an expansion trade? The answer for that is fully dependent on the previous price delivery there. If previous price delivery were to be good, then the trade is only going to be a pullback trade. Okay, it is only going to be a pullback trade. After something of an external is taken, you expect some sort of continuation towards the upside. Okay, that would be that for this doubt. Let's move on towards the next. We have another doubt here, and that is when we induce something from an efficient point of interest, we need an imbalance to call it a proper inducement. We know that, but will you call this inducement a valid protected? Because in this case, the initial imbalance is covered and now the imbalance is there. But we also know that if a protected structure is there and price is reacting from a non-imbalance zone, it will be considered an inducement. So can we mark this as a valid protected? As long as to the left here, you're not reacting off of an imbalance. And when you go to the correlated pair, let's say this one here is Euro USD, okay? Euro USD. When you go to GBP USD, this high here is also not reacting off of something, some sort of an imbalance, then this protected here is going to be low probability protected. Okay, it is going to be low probability protected. What does that mean that it is low probability? It means that you marking this as your point of interest and you selling from there right away is going to be lower probability. So what we're going to do is instead, we're going to wait for an entry model once it taps into a certain point of interest. Once an entry model is given, definitely entering from there is valid. Okay, just one extra step to keep in mind. Okay, now let's look at this one. This is more of a doubt as well, not a trade review. These are about external structures. Now let's look at this structures here. Let's mark the externals. Looking great so far. Here is the okay. Nah, it's all good. This low here broke the previous low, and then this low broke the previous low. It did come from that high, and then this low here broke the previous low. It did come from that high. Very good. What is this? Yeah. What are these two structures doing, bro? These are internals. These are internals. Absolutely not. Nope. These are not external structures. No, we need to ignore this. This is noise. Noise. Absolutely not. Okay. Now you have external high, external low. This low broke the previous low. It did come from the high. Low. This low broke the previous low. It did come from that high. Now there you go. All of that is good. All of these are good. Except this one here, that was noise. Okay. Those are internal structures. Sorry. This here is internal structure. We're not going to use that as our structures. We don't really have to mark them because again, at the end of the day, we're trying to remove as much noise as possible. So yeah, that was that for the review for today. And I'll see you guys in the next one.